What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. It is Friday, February 19th, and Carson Wentz is an Indianapolis Colt. But that's not what today's podcast is about. We are actually, we have an emergency Carson Wentz podcast in the feed. Of course, you can check it out. This is a mailbag episode. You can drop, if you have any mailbag questions, it could be about parenting, it could be about beer, it could be about life in general, Carson Wentz, or a specific to a team, player, coach, organization, draft, whatever it is. Leave a 5-star review. Leave your question on Apple Podcasts, and we will get it in a future mailbag. It takes a couple days to populate, so we will add it later. But go ahead and drop those in. Any reviews are appreciated, even if you don't have a question. Joining me to answer those mailbag questions, Ryan Wilson and John Breach. What's up, fellas?
I'm very excited to do a post Carson Wentz podcast because, we all need more Carson Wentz in our life.
I thought we were doing a second Carson Wentz emergency podcast. I was led to believe incorrectly about that. But I'm going to stick around for the mailbag because I'm always excited for mailbags.
This is a good one. Ryan just dropped in a 5-star review from Jim in South Carolina. Could use more nudity.
I mean, obviously he wasn't watching last summer when I was just stripping left and right. We didn't have YouTube yet. It's probably for the best.
Still much better than Cats. Cats. I never saw Cats.
I love that Breach actually saw the comment and still interrupted you as you tried to read through the comment to take off his clothes.
And he was like stripping as he was doing it too.
Me and Wilson match again, by the way. My wife saw the video and it said it looks like we're wearing uniforms.
It does.
The best part is that Brinson, number one, doesn't have his yet. Number two, on the podcast earlier this week with Jonathan Jones, I saw Jonathan rocking his too.
I thought it was a troll job. Was it a troll job? Was it on purpose?
I didn't know it until I saw it on the YouTubes.
Okay.
YouTube.com/PickSix. If you subscribe to us on the podcast, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube to see these guys wearing stuff that Brinson doesn't have in his possession yet.
Ryan, would you give up your Super Bowl LV hoodie to get out of the tattoo bet?
Oh, no, I'm going to own the tattoo bet. I'm not going to be that guy.
You're going to get the tattoo.
Speaking of tattoo bets, Brinson is going to get a tattoo of a domino on his face if Desean Watson gets traded to the Eagles. So everyone write that down. Let that be part of the record. The Brinson tattoo bet is real.
And the tattoo bet that I'm currently in the midst of, number one, Breach has to draw it, and number two, Brinson's paying for it. And now I have an $80,000 Ryan Finley tattoo budget. So I'm actually kind of excited.
And I've actually drawn diamond studs that will be on Ryan Finley's face that are going to be sewn into Wilson's skin. It will be painful, but you'll be using every part of that budget. I promise.
It will be worth it.
So your assertion then, because people ask me about this, they're like, "What's the deal? Like Wilson's not going to get it right." I'm like, I mean, he better, or else it's going to be awkward. So your assertion then is that the onus is currently on Breach to produce.
Breach has to come up with some sketches that I have to approve. And, I don't care where he gets it. He doesn't have to even get input from whoever he wants to. He can get an artist to draw a tattoo if he wants and submit that. And then you have to pay for it. And I got to do it.
Somebody out there that listens to this podcast, maybe it's Sketcherdoodle or somebody. We need a mock-up of a Ryan Finley tattoo for Wilson. Maybe it's just a penny with Ryan Finley's face or something. Somebody get that to us.
Yeah, I would de-emphasize the Ryan Finley part of it and emphasize the tattoo part of it. Like I don't want a lot of Ryan Finley on my person.
What if it like a giant like Ryan Finley like hands clapped like in prayer
I think the leader in the clubhouse, as far as design wise, we don't have the actual design yet, was Ryan Finley's face on a dime because he was throwing dimes against the Steelers. That way Wilson can make this crazy excuse because you can't really tell it's Finley because dimes are so small. And you get like a quarter with your sons and a 50-cent piece, with your wife's face. You get the whole family and Finley can be the dime and you can say it's you.
And that's actually, I think you're going in the right direction, Breach. None of us on this podcast, even included, have a tattoo. So I think the smaller the Ryan Finley part of it, the better. And I can just work around it into some sort of intricate pattern that you have to really be looking for Ryan Finley to find him.
Yeah, and we will obviously have some sort of live stream situation, involving Ryan's tattoo process. But
hey, once we all get vaccinated, we can all do it together. We'll make a road trip out of it.
That's right. But if you're itching for fantastic live streaming content or OTT content or on-demand content in the meantime, may I suggest Paramount Plus? You've probably seen the Journey to Mount Paramount spots featuring Bill Cowher, James Corden, Patrick Stewart, Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, quite a squad. But Paramount Plus is live sports, breaking news, and a mountain of entertainment. You can go straight from game day to movie night with Paramount Plus. Stream iconic movies like The Godfather, Indiana Jones, and Mission Impossible. Plus new episodes of critically acclaimed original series like Star Trek Picard, The Good Fight, and The Stand. Get this, it's where you can dive into live sports from us at CBS Sports, including the NFL, March Madness, the Masters, and Champions League Soccer. Plus, stream hit shows from CBS, Nickelodeon, MTV, BET, Smithsonian Channel, Comedy Central, VH1, and more. Live sports, breaking news, and a mountain of entertainment. Paramount Plus streaming March 4th. Go get it. I'm pumped for it. I love Paramount Plus.
I watch mine every night.
I do too. I watch a lot of it. And you guys know I'm a big golf fan. It's Nat season, baby.
Heard something about that, yeah.
Yeah. So I always fire up downstairs in our main TV. Like I can't get my HD antenna to work for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I fire up the Paramount Plus and watch the local CBS channel. You can watch NFL, your local March Madness. Oh yeah. Get it. All right. Let's get to the mailbag. Again, 5-star review, future mailbags. We'll get it in there. You leave them. We will answer them. Thank you to everybody who leaves them. You're greatly appreciated. Informative and hilarious NFL podcast. Thank you. This is from Harris, UK via Apple Podcasts. He's over in Great Britain. Recent NFL convert from the UK. When I first started getting into the NFL, this pod really helped me to understand the wider game through their daily discussions on news and the draft, as well as the analysis takes. The real joy of this podcast, though, isn't about that. If all you're interested in is nitty gritty detail, this probably isn't the podcast, the one for you. What makes this my favorite NFL podcast is the group dynamic and the fact it is at times side-splittingly funny. Ooh, add that to the back cover of the book. I usually listen to it during lunch due to the time difference, and I've often gotten looks when I just burst out laughing. The hosts are great at making fun of each other, and the audio drop editions are brilliant. Overall, a great balance between detail and humor. This is also coming from a Raiders fan, and they hate the Raiders, so it demonstrates how much I like the rest of the podcast. Mailbag question, if I may. You always can. Do you all remember Deebo's take from the 2020 offseason? Oh, yeah. I don't remember which episode, sorry, where he said he would take Wentz over Watson. Oh, he missed. Oh, thanks, guys. Keep up the great work. That was actually the wrong drop, but you get the point. That's the right one. I can't hear him.
That was right.
Yeah. Why are you
wow. Deebo. I forgot about that. That was like a month ago.
No. When did you say that?
It was like a month ago.
No, I said it preseason. But we talked about Watson on a live stream a month ago, and I stand by it. No, I'm just kidding. As detailed on the Wentz emergency podcast, I have been wrong a lot about my favorite team this offseason. And this season, I thought Doug Peterson would return as the coach after week 17. I thought Carson Wentz would be the week 1 starter after Nick Sirianni was hired. Both those things now untrue. The Wentz-Watson thing, now untrue. I will comment on Deshaun Watson. I am not as high as a lot of other people. He went 2-12 against teams not named the Jaguars this year. I get it. Not a good situation. Not a good situation.
It's a fair point.
I'm taking Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert over Deshaun Watson for the next 5 years, and Dak Prescott.
Sweet mercy.
Wait, sorry. Say that again.
Deebo's lost his mind.
That's my list. Next 5 years.
Repeat those names again.
Next 5 years.
Brinson was talking.
Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Dak Prescott, which says a lot for me.
Over Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
There's 7 names I counted on that list that need to be behind Deshaun Watson.
I mean,
all right, Brinson, let me ask you this.
So the time frame is 5 years?
Do you love Russ Wilson more than Deshaun Watson for the next 5 years?
I mean, I would just take Deshaun Watson for 5 years over Russell Wilson. I think that Russell Wilson will be playing at a high level in 5 years, but I wouldn't chance the age situation. I wouldn't take a chance on. I would
25 to 31, maybe, I think.
31, 32.
I mean, I think I would definitely take Watson over Kyler Murray. Like, that's not even close.
What about Lamar?
I would take Watson over Lamar.
I would too. I
think this kind of comes back to you're drafting a team. You're starting a franchise. Everyone's a free agent. The team, whoever has the first pick is obviously taking Patrick Mahomes. So who's going second? And I mean, for me, it's like you have to be deferential to Lamar. I think he's in the mix, but I wouldn't take him second. I think Josh Allen is right there. I think Joe Burrow is right there, but I'm taking Watson second.
Oh, and we'll do a full episode on this during the offseason. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
For now, I was wrong. I will say that I was wrong.
Can I also just add in real quick that I love the fact that this guy wrote us a 500-word review from Great Britain just so he could dunk on Deebo for a take from August. That is amazing.
Up high, down hard.
The question was just, do you remember this awful take?
And look, let's give Deebo credit. You didn't have to put this at the top of the mailbag. Yeah, you organized the rundown. You could have buried this one.
It's timely. It's timely.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even know that you really believed it, Deebo, when you said it at the time.
Oh, I will say this.
I believed it.
This
I don't say things I don't believe.
I just think that I think you were probably fooling yourself a little bit into. Wait, was this before this season?
This was before the season.
Okay, it wasn't like a month ago.
I'm going to say this. You guys will argue it. I don't think if you compare their first 4 seasons, so Wentz is a year ahead of Watson. Their first 4 seasons are not all that different.
Don't Deebo, please. Don't do
Yeah.
this.
Was Watson the MVP through 13 weeks?
Deebo jumped in front of the bus, and then he got back up, stood on the curb, and just jumped in front of the bus.
You know what, though?
Shot the bus, the double bird, and the bus like backed up.
I'll be the guy who defends Deebo right now.
Go ahead, Gardner Minshew.
More wins in 2021. Deshaun Watson or Carson Wentz?
Well, let's find out where Deshaun Watson is going to be
Hey,
first.
that doesn't matter, Wilson. Why don't you just answer the question instead of coming up with excuses?
Andy Dalton, 9-7. How about that?
Well, you made that prediction in October, and that one blew up in your face.
I was going to say that Andy Dalton prediction is way worse than Deebo thinking Carson Wentz was going to be. So he's got
First
that
4
going.
years, Carson Wentz, 32-24. Deshaun Watson, 28-25.
But again, we talked about this on the emergency podcast. The stability of the organizations in question. One was incredibly stable. The other one was a circus.
Yes,
Andy Dalton, first 4 years, 40 wins. Boom.
Andy Dalton dunk.
Yeah, I mean, look, Carson. I mean, I think there are some similarities in the sense that Deshaun Watson has probably has at times gotten overhyped, and gets excuses made for him, maybe more so than other people. I've never seen anything like what's happening with Deshaun Watson in my life, though, in the sense that everybody is on the player side. There isn't maybe
except for Pete. That's right.
Except for Pete Prisco. That's right. Yeah. And there's just you don't ever see this. Like it's unheard of in like the modern NFL for this many people to be all aboard the player side in a dispute of.
It might have been like 60-40. Deebo could probably better tell us the Eagles management over Carson Wentz over the last 3 months in terms of his undoing.
I have to run really quickly. I'll be right back. My wife locked. You guys keep going. My wife locked the keys in the house and she's out in the car. One sec.
We'll keep it
Lock
going.
the keys in the house and she's in the car. How does that work?
She walked outside without the keys and locked the door when she left.
Oh, okay. So she's not.
So she's locked out of the house.
But the cars, I mean,
Go.
She's like, I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Oh,
Brinson's explaining the situation, and while he's doing that, his wife is like
I know.
freezing to death outside.
You can add that to the list of random excuses you've never heard before when Brinson.
I believe that one. He had a frantic look and stopped mid-sentence, which he never does. He'll be the one to interrupt you, but he never stops himself mid-sentence.
And then he decided to tell us all about it while his wife, as Breach noted, is out there banging on the door trying to get in the house.
And I'm surprised with that $80,000, he hasn't bought a voice-activated lock.
Or a butler.
Or a butler.
Mr. Belvedere.
Brinson's not into buttling.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that what that's what butlering? You have a.
All right, let's go to another question before Brinson even gets back. We can have all the time to talk about Deshaun Watson. I will say, in my mind, I like him. I'm on his side with all the trade stuff, but I think slightly overhyped is the right way to put it. Fair enough. Maybe. No, you guys don't agree.
Don't let Brinson hear that. You'll just start a new discussion.
Record prediction for the Chargers, considering all the coaching changes. This is from Anthony G.
Have you guys already given yours? I will say, I want to say 11-5.
You know what? Here's the thing. Like I said last week or the week before, that they're my sneaky Super Bowl favorite. Like I didn't remember what the odds were. But the question, of course, is Brandon Staley. How's he going to be as a coach? We know he's a good defense coordinator, 1 year with the Rams, yada, 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 but he's incredibly young. But we don't know if that necessarily translates. So I'm going to assume it does. And I think that's right. I think they finished second in the division. They have a lot of things going for them. They went 7-9 with Anthony Lynn blowing so many games at the end because he just mismanaged them, that they could very easily have been 9-7. And I feel like they can get 2 more wins out of that. There'll be one more year with Justin Herbert. They can draft an offensive lineman or get one in free agency. They can find a tight end, and Derwin James is coming back. So I'm going to say I like the 10 or 11 wins as well.
I guess I am going to be, I thought I was high on the Chargers. I didn't know that I was going to be the guy who was down on the Chargers based on my prediction. I'm going to go 9-7. I'm not as high as Brinson. Wilson, sounds like you like 10 wins. I'll go 9-7. And 3-3 in division. You do that, you find 6 other wins on your schedule.
I think 9-7 is if Anthony Lynn just does the bare minimum coaching wise and not compound end of game decisions. So I think that Brandon Staley will do that, and then maybe squeeze out one more win.
Did I see that the Broncos want to trade for Deshaun Watson, or was that for Carson Wentz?
I think Desean Watson was the report. I don't know who said it or when.
I
thought it was Wentz.
No, it was, they didn't want Carson Wentz. They said,
okay.
Because they were in the Matthew Stafford sweepstakes. And so they're absolutely looking to upgrade at quarterback. I think James Palmer from NFL Network was one of the people who mentioned this, that if Wentz is available, the Broncos are going to call, but like, they're not being progressive about it. They're going to say, if the Texans keep insisting that they're not going to trade Watson, the Broncos are like, okay, whatever, fine. We won't go after him. We'll just keep Drew Lock. But if Wentz ends up on the trading block, the Broncos will be in talks.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, my thing with him is that I'm sort of in on Brandon Staley without really any idea why I'm in on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think, I think Justin Herbert, I don't think he's going to have his, he'll probably have some regression, but I think the offense will be more balanced. I think it'll be more effective. I think they'll be smarter in-game decision-making. I think Anthony Lynn's a, great leader, obviously a great human being. Not sure he's a great in-game coach and a great, tactician. So to me, the upgrade at coach could possibly propel the Chargers to not losing a bunch of 1-score games for once in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my working theory on that.
All right. What's next?
Sorry, somebody came back in the house. Dawson. Oh no, sorry. Eric Blazel asked, what small market team do you guys feel gets the least coverage by the media? I sometimes laugh at the bare bones info during the one primetime game a year some of these teams get.
I think the answer is easy. I think it's Breach's hometown, Spaghettiville.
No, I feel like I would disagree. That I live in Nashville and it's not easy to get Bengals coverage unless I manufacture it myself, which I have been known to do. But I think with Joe Burrow and the fact that they went to the playoffs, 5 times in the past decade, that they've been a little more relevant than some other teams. I would say one of 2 teams to me, either Jacksonville or Carolina.
I think Carolina's the answer. Jacksonville just sucks.
But so they're small market and they're irrelevant. Right.
But like, why would anybody be talking about Jacksonville? They had one good season where they made, the Panthers have been to the playoffs a ton, went to the playoffs a ton under Ron Rivera. They hired Matt Rule.
So what's the time frame we're talking about here then? Because like the last 2 years, no one knows. You can't, other than Breach and me, you can't name 10 players that play for the Bengals.
But I think Burrow brought in the
That's
spark.
One.
Now everybody's talking about him because of Burrow. So since last year, at least.
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody knows Joe Burrow.
I feel like we're constantly barraged with Bengals talk, but that's because we Breach.
Because you played the Randy Bullock thing and we make fun of Zach Taylor. What else do we say about him?
Fat Randy.
What if you did over the past decade rather than this exact moment in time, the past year or so? If you did, take a 10-year sample size.
I think the Colts make a compelling argument.
Are the Cardinals in that mix? Arizona.
Well, one team I was going to say,
I was looking at Arizona.
One team I was going to say that obviously doesn't fit the bill right now is Tampa Bay. Before they signed Tom Brady, they didn't make the playoffs in the past 10 years. You didn't really talk about him unless you were watching a highlight of Jameis Winston throwing a pick 6
Yeah, but you're talking, but that to me count. Like the Jacksonville seems less relevant than Tampa Bay because they didn't have someone throwing 45 picks a year. I mean, we
What
made fun of
about
Blake
about
Bortles.
Detroit?
Matthew Stafford was good. I feel like the Cardinals were sort of out there, and you're like, no one cares about the Cardinals. Like before, like the Josh Rosen thing, no one really cared about until they talked about drafting Kyler Murray. Carson Palmer was there for a while, and there was the other backup that played for the Browns for a little bit. There was a quarterback. There's so many like just transitional quarterbacks that I feel like they got lost in the mix going from Kurt Warner to where we are now.
They did get to an NFC title game over the past 10 years.
Right.
They lost to the Panthers when they went Super Bowl 50.
That was end of Kurt Warner or Carson Palmer?
Carson Palmer.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like the answer is probably Jacksonville, though. But it won't be
maybe,
them anymore because they're going to get a lot of headlines starting now.
I think the Titans, in terms of like, we've talked about this before. You talk about super awesome cities where they have a team that no one gives a crap about. Like Nashville's a top 5 city. Tennessee is a bottom 5 in terms of exciting football team.
So, I mean, the Panthers have, so I just think if you look at the Panthers have been to the playoffs 4 times. So what's our time frame here? 2011?
Sure. That's when Cam arrived, right?
Well, I was just trying to find like over the last 10 years, what team qualifies.
That just happened to be Cam's rookie season too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The Panthers got a lot of attention because of Cam.
And they went to the playoffs a good amount.
The Super Bowl.
Right.
Won MVP.
In 2015.
They went to the playoffs. They went to the playoffs 4 times.
I'm going to go
won the division 4 times.
Yeah, they're not in the conversation. I'm going to go Jacksonville, Tennessee, and then Arizona.
Well, but like the question is not like who gets the least coverage. It's like who's undercovered.
Oh,
like Jacksonville is properly covered relative to their.
Oh, I thought Brinson, the exact question is what small market team do you guys feel gets the least coverage?
Right. Okay. That's what I thought it was. Undercovered. I think that again, that's probably the Titans.
Yeah. I think. But like, I mean, Jacksonville has 1 winning season.
Well, 2017, they almost went to the Super Bowl. They should have beaten the Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
Here are their win totals since 2011. 5, 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 10, 5, 6, 1. I mean, like,
can you add those up?
Yeah, that's called the good Bengals team.
What are you talking about? It's not a dunk. They went to the playoffs 5 times.
There's nothing funnier than like, name another quarterback who's been to the playoffs 7 of his first 8 seasons. There isn't one. It's Andy Dalton. It's like, well, there's a problem, Breach.
The Steelers have only been to the playoffs 1 more time than the Bengals over the past 10 years.
Get out of here, Breach.
I'm just saying that that's such a dumb, like.
So this is the number of times Andy Dalton's been in the playoffs. That's how many times he's won, and that's how many Super Bowls the Steelers have.
That's how many Super Bowls the Steelers have in the past 10 years.
5,
is
0,
the same
and
amount
6.
of wins as Andy Dalton has in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
so we all agree the answer is Jacksonville.
Buffalo.
If I were to ask you guys,
Buffalo's good.
This is a little trivia. Smallest 3 TV markets that NFL teams play in. What would you guess? I think the
Green Bay's
bottom
number 1
is obvious. Yep,
Green Bay.
Bay's the lowest.
I would say Kansas City.
No,
Buffalo's a small market.
Buffalo. Yep, that's the second smallest.
Chicago.
Are you
Chicago's like the third biggest. Indianapolis.
Third one might surprise you a little bit.
Is it Indy?
Nope.
That's a good guess.
Houston?
Houston's huge.
No, Houston's huge. Jacksonville?
Nope.
Jacksonville's huge. Jacksonville's the biggest geographical city in the country.
Would you say Deebo? No.
No.
Oh, that's not number 3. It's not. I don't think it's Minnesota.
Nope.
Tampa Bay?
Seattle?
Nope.
Yes.
Charlotte? Is it Charlotte?
You guys might get to like the 30th team. No.
The third smallest? I can't.
Third smallest
in terms
market.
of TV viewers, right?
Yeah, this is TV market. So
it could be a situation where it's a big city, but everyone hates the team.
No.
TV market.
No,
it's not like ratings. It's the market, the available rating.
Right,
oh, okay.
Right.
Golly, what's number 3?
Cincinnati? It's not Cincinnati, is it?
No. It is
Nashville?
NFC team. They have won a Super Bowl in the past 12 years.
Saints?
Yep, New Orleans.
Oh, wow. I would never guess that.
They are the 50th biggest TV market. Buffalo's 52, and then Green Bay Appleton is 60.
Well, I will say that the Saints definitely do not fit the bill as an undercovered small market team. They might be the most saturated covered small market team.
Pre-2000.
Yeah, it's this
6, that might be the answer.
Yeah.
Do they have a hockey team in New Orleans?
No.
No. So they just have basketball and football.
They
Is
got
that
the
it?
Pelicans. I love Pelicans, like the Birds, not the team.
Oh, we don't. So yeah, there's a 2-team town. I guess LSU sort of counts as a team for them. I don't know how far Baton Rouge is, but I can't imagine Tulane's getting a lot of pull over LSU. But anyway, yeah, interesting.
Very interesting, Deebo.
Now that's a fun fact, Breach. That's how you do it.
That was a horrible fact.
Cincinnati's the 37th overall market, and teams below them, Vegas is 39, Jacksonville's 41. So those are a couple teams below Cincinnati in terms of TV markets.
That was fun trivia, Ryan. Fun trivia.
All
Deebo
right.
stumped us. I can't believe all 3 of us couldn't get it. That's embarrassing.
Saints. I mean, you think of New Orleans, though. You don't think of like a quote unquote small market.
For the
I
record,
think of Indianapolis
Chicago,
like as a small market.
Brinson's guess of Chicago, number 3. Houston.
That was. I thought the Chicago
know.
thing was clearly a joke,
I know.
right? Okay.
Clearly.
Wait, what was Jacksonville? Because Brinson trying to tell you that it's
41.
Oh,
so
close.
where as far as small. That's in NFL terms. That's a small market, right?
4th smallest.
4th smallest.
It's huge. It's the greatest geographical area in the country, Breach.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
So,
Fourth
I guess we
smallest.
can both be right. Geographical, the land size is
is. I think
large, but
yeah.
the people size is not.
well, yeah,
They're
it's in
all-
the
they're all
South.
short
It's all
like me.
spread out. All right, let's move along.
My God,
Next.
we need to move.
Which team, if any, I guess we can say no. This is from Dawson AH. Which team, if any, would you love to see be relocated? I'll start things off. Obviously, the Bengals.
That's
Dun,
me.
dun, dun.
Um,
You turn it off. All right. If you relocate the Bengals, where are you relocating them?
Yeah,
I think we've had this
Brinson, where are you
question
putting
too.
them? In Pittsburgh?
What did we say? We talked about this. About
An old mailbag.
yeah. What?
No,
you know what? You know
ranked-
where I'm putting them? I'm putting them in Nashville because then
What?
because Breach has had everywhere he goes, the team that he lives, the team that is in the place he lives ends up moving. So he would have, it would be the ultimate hellscape. He would think the Bengals were coming to him, but then he would scare them away and he'd be forced to watch the Bengals lose every day.
Well, I think we were asked to rank the last time we did the rank the likelihood of certain teams moving. And I mentioned the Bengals on a serious note because their lease expires in 2026, which is now only 5 years away. My God, it's 2021. So you're talking about 5 years away. And then, will the Bengals ask for another new stadium or will they sign a new lease? You don't know what's going to happen. So there is, it's a little murky there. And that's only 5 years away. And then the Bills, they're successful now. So I think Buffalo's going to fight hard to keep them. But I think their stadium lease only goes through 2023. And, they either want that stadium to be heavily updated or get a new stadium. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And then obviously, I think number one is Jacksonville.
I think number one has to be Jacksonville. And I know that Jacksonville fans don't like hearing that and it's tough and they hate Jason Lockenfor in Jacksonville because he's always talking about them going to London. And maybe it changes with Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence in town. You don't draft Trevor Lawrence and move him to London, I don't think. Right?
Look, man, it's
Or
all
now
about,
you have the biggest star, so you take them to London.
right. Exactly. It's all about the money.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. That would be a dagger for old Trevor Lawrence. Though.
I'm
Like,
trying to
"Phew, I
think.
dodged the Jets. I'm going to London.
Like, I don't even know. Like, I think Jacksonville obviously makes sense. The Bengals aren't moving. But where would you go? Like, if you're relocating, I'm looking for NFL.
San Diego.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about in the last mailbag or one of the previous mailbags where we talked about
Raleigh.
landing spots.
Let me not waste this TV market list that I have pulled up. What do you
San
think the
Antonio,
biggest-
Portland.
What do you think the biggest city is that doesn't have an NFL team?
Did I just name one?
San Antonio,
Nope.
St. Louis, St. Louis,
Nope.
Oh, that's a good one.
Portland.
Portland's close.
Close
All-
geographically
all
or close?
they're all your guesses that are wrong so far. Portland and St. Louis.
Portsmouth.
Orlando.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Oh, Wilson, nice job.
But you
Can't
can't
have another Florida
right.
team.
You can't have
Can't go
Tampa,
from
Jacksonville.
to Orlando.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be fun.
And you could have it right in the middle of Disney World.
That would be hilarious if Jacksonville was like, we have a big relocation announcement. And they're like, we're going to Orlando.
Yeah, we're going to Georgia. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
What about Vancouver? Is that too close to Seattle to have a team?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember these teams are like, Jerry Jones was fine with Houston coming aboard, but mainly because he knew that the Texans wouldn't supplant.
You know what
the
team should
Cowboys.
move that we didn't mention? The Chargers.
That's a good one. Yeah.
You don't need two teams in Los Angeles. Like, it doesn't make any
really
sense. And if you're the Chargers, move to London. Move to San Diego. I heard it's nice there.
Move to San Diego.
Somewhere.
That's right. That's a good call. The Chargers make a lot of sense.
God, I don't know. Like, there's no great landing spot. Are there NFL cities that are being mentioned as possible?
I think San Antonio came up.
It's too hot. Like, I don't know. They already have how many? 2 teams there? 3 teams? How many teams they have there?
In Texas, 2.
Houston and Cowboys.
Toronto?
Like St. Louis didn't work out. Toronto, I don't hate, but the only issue is, well, it's fine. I guess you can play indoors. I mean, that's not the end of the world.
Sacramento?
Mexico City?
Yeah, Sacramento's too close to San Francisco.
Sacramento screws up a basketball team.
What'd you say, though, before that, Brenton?
Mexico?
Trying to think. Mexico City.
Mexico.
See, I feel like if you go international, Canada will be fine. But if you go London or Mexico City, that gets dicey. If we're in a pandemic, so I feel like that would be that would be how you talk yourself out of going.
What about Albuquerque, New Mexico? We don't have any New Mexico teams.
What about Santa Fe, New Mexico? What about
That's
Idaho?
fine.
We have no one in Idaho.
You're
how about Memphis?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's 2 teams in Tennessee.
Yeah,
but Tennessee's
here.
like didn't.
So
the Titans played in Memphis.
They're on the other side, yeah.
The Titans played in Memphis. Nashville or Memphis. Nashville's in the middle of the state. Memphis
it's
is
Knoxville,
in the western
Nashville,
corner.
Memphis, right?
Memphis is in the southwest corner of the state.
Yeah, like it doesn't really like.
It's like 3 hours away. It's not that close, but
I'd rather have it in Albuquerque.
What about Salt Lake City?
I don't mind that, but I saw that and I was wondering, like, could they get people going to the games is my only question. Same for Albuquerque for all that matter.
Well, if the pandemic never ends, you don't have to worry about that.
But I mean, do people like watching? I mean, BYU is a thing, but I don't know if people go to BYU games. I'm certain no one goes to the University of New Mexico games.
Portland is one that gets thrown out all the time, but like,
are all those hippies going to football games?
And also, it's kind of close to Seattle. I think that would be the one drawback there. It's a little bit. I think it's like
3 hours away. I think
maybe the NFL is probably
that's like Nashville, Memphis.
No, it might be like 800 miles away. I think we had this conversation.
No, it's about 3 hours.
If the NFL expands, let's say they added 2 teams, they're definitely going international with it. But I know that this would be a way down the road. I agree, Breach. I think the pandemic thing, if the NFL had grand ideas of international expansion, those have probably been kicked down the road, a bit because of the pandemic.
Yep, you're right, Breach. I think San Francisco is really far away from.
What about Honolulu?
Yeah, I mean, would you rather? Here's what Roger Goodell's going to say: are we making more money in London or in Honolulu?
But are the players going to sign with the team in London or in Honolulu?
I don't know.
I'm taking a discount sign in Honolulu. I'll tell you that right now. I'll take my 3-year league minimum deal and live in Honolulu for 3 years.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, a few more mailbag questions. Nick Carberry asks, how is that football fan league or whatever it's called going to fare with XFL, Arena Football, AAF all failing? XFL's.
I don't know what the football fan league is. What is this?
I don't know.
Fan-controlled football. It's the one that Johnny Manziel debuted in the other night.
Hey.
It is where the fans call the plays.
How does that? So, what do you like? Vote on your phone or something?
They make the roster decisions. I'm not sure if they call the plays in the game.
So real fans pick real players and call the plays in real time. That's their
okay.
slogan.
Yep. Oh, here it is on Twitch, and then the fan-controlled football app. You'll see run or pass when your team is on offense. Pick one, and you'll see 4 diagram play options. Lock in your favorite, get notified which play won the vote, and watch the play unfold on the field in real time.
So wait, are there like
this is a terrible idea?
Are there 4-minute shot clocks? Because this has to happen pretty quickly. You can't have 35 seconds to get the play in, and you're waiting for your iPad to update.
Presumably, they'd be doing it like a play ahead of time or something.
You know what though? I don't like. Obviously, you're not competing with the NFL here. You are a giant social experiment. Yeah. I don't hate this idea because, like, when you go to an XFL game or an AFL, what is distinguishing that from NFL football? So it feels like you're watching, unless you make a bunch of different rule changes like the XFL, it just feels like you're watching a lower level of football. So with this, you're acknowledging that, and you're also saying, you know what? Let's keep the fans involved by letting them call the plays, and that keeps you paying attention to the whole thing because you want to
This
see how your
reminds
play
me
turns out.
a little bit of how the NFL figured out 5 or 6 or 7 years ago that the draft in person isn't about the media, it's about the fans. So you make it as exciting as you can for the fans. You make it a week-long event. You put the media as far back as possible in the room so because no one cares about them. And I think that Breach is right because this is more of an inconvenience for the players in order to keep the fans interested. So the players have to understand that they're like the second fiddle, whereas the fans are the ones that get to decide what's going to happen because like why else are you doing it? Because we've seen XFL not work, Arena not work, AAF quit in the middle of the season. So I guess I'm fine with it. I just haven't seen any. Did anyone watch Johnny Manziel do his thing?
Nah.
He did say, "Win or lose, we booze" on the Zappers, which sounds like I feel like Bruce Arians.
That's the Manziel you want, though. You know, if you say that after an NFL game, you get fined $15,000 and they like lock your booze in a refrigerator so you can't touch it for a month. You want Johnny Manziel saying that kind of stuff. That's the Manziel.
You need him on that wall.
That's actually the Pick Six podcast slogan. Win or lose, we booze.
How's it going to do though?
It's probably gonna not work. It's not owned by CBS or anything, right? Like, remember when we had to prop up the AAF for a while? Just kidding. We had to. I mean, it's on CBS. Yeah, I don't think it'll work out. And let's be fair. The XFL was probably working.
It was sort of exciting.
It got hammered by the pandemic, and because the XFL did it right because they partnered with DraftKings, and so like there's no other football on, but you could do daily fantasy for the XFL, and it was fun. Like it was, there were enough like it was easy. There were breakdowns of it. So I think a little unfair to XFL. They got daggered.
We saw success stories this year. We saw success stories make it to the NFL.
PJ Walker played?
The Rock owns XFL.
Yeah, that part's weird. Okay. Moving along. Tom de Guzman says, Super Friends, what was the last thing you did for your first time?
What was the last thing you did for
the last thing you did for the first time?
Yeah, I don't know how to think about that. Like, do you have what Deebo, you go first.
I apologized to my wife yesterday. Does that count?
That wasn't the first time.
That definitely counts.
What a
100% chance that was the first time ever.
I'm just kidding.
I did think about this. Ryan, I explained it a little bit to you before. I had iced coffee for the first time. That was tremendous.
What?
I feel like Nick Van Exel. I don't know if you guys saw like the basketball player. Clearly,
his whole Twitter account's about iced coffee. He loves it.
I had iced coffee for like the first time last year, and it was like pissed at people. He was like, "How did you guys not tell me about this before?" Yeah. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I would love to drink coffee for the first time again. I love coffee.
Well, iced coffee.
I like regular hot coffee better than iced coffee.
I do too, but an iced coffee on like a hot day is, oh man, you're tired. You go by the Bucks and you pick up an iced coffee. Oh yeah.
If it's a hot day, I'm pulling a Johnny Manziel. I'm just cracking open a beer. I'm not trying to have an iced coffee.
Iced coffee's delicious.
You're like at 2:00 on a hot day. You're tired. You're dragging a little bit. You're just cracking a beer.
Yeah, and then I'm taking a nap.
Lean into it. Right.
What's the last thing you did for the first time? God, what was it? What's yours, Breach? Change a diaper finally?
Mine is 100% changing a diaper. I went my whole life without changing a diaper. If I saw a baby or even smelled anything that remotely smelled like a poop, I got as far away from that baby as possible. I have a bunch of nieces and nephews. And then finally, when you have a baby of your own, there's no more avoiding it. I try to talk my wife into changing all the diapers. You do that trade-off. Like, hey, I'll feed the baby every morning if you change all the diapers. It doesn't work.
Wait, what? Did you that trade-off?
Did you really try to get out?
Did you offer the Texans Carson Wentz for Deshaun Watson too? Like, what do you think?
Think about it. Got to think about it.
Hold on, Breach. Did you really try to get that change in your diaper?
No, I didn't. I knew. I mentally prepared for the fact that I was gonna have to see a lot of baby poop, and I have seen a lot of baby poop during this pandemic.
The thing is, you're like, it's just like it's poop. It's on my hand. Whatever. What are you gonna do?
Get used to it.
You don't? Yeah, you do.
No, you do. You get used to it.
Yeah, I don't care. Like poop doesn't like affect me. Like poop is like out the door as something that like remotely bothers me. Like
I don't know what the last thing is that I did for the first time though.
I mean, I would say like it's got to be something for me. I don't know how to couch this the best, but like something with school.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know what I did. I called my congressman.
What?
Whoa!
And did he fly to Cancun?
and my congressman, my U.S. rep, and he is a different party than I'm in, and I called him to support him.
Good job, Wilson.
How about that?
You called the congressman like, hey, man, love you, buddy. Great job.
You have numbers. You know that, right? You can call your congressperson, and usually a staff will pick up, or you get the message.
Yeah, but like usually you call to tell them to do something. You don't call and be like, I really appreciate the job you're doing.
Do you want to hear the details? Is that
yes? I'd love to.
Is that okay? Are we allowed to talk about it, Deebo, or not?
What?
Yeah, you can go for it.
Mailbag.
Yeah, I don't know.
Deebo's just gonna bleep it out for like 5 minutes. No, tell us.
Here's the thing.
Why.
He did something that I typically don't agree with his policy decisions, which is fine. That's how politics works. You don't have to agree with the person. But he did something that wasn't policy related. He took on a voting matter. And I was like, oh, and he voted for impeachment.
Oh,
and we live in like a moderate area, but a lot of supporters of the party that I'm not a member of. And he got a ton of pushback. And I read something in the local paper today that said 40 people of that party met to kick him out. So I was like, I'll give him a call and support him.
They were coming after my boy. Oh God, what's his name from Winston? Richard Burr, because he voted for impeachment too. That was like a pretty shocking twist. Because Burr is I think he was probably just doing it to be like, remember that whole stock thing at the beginning of the pandemic? Forget that.
But anyway, so yeah, I gave him a call. I'd never done that. I'd never called any politician, whether I agree with them or not. But
wait, how does that? Do you just leave a message, or they have like a secretary who answers? How does that work?
It was weird. Some young fella answered. I'm sure he'd been getting yelled at
all
day.
Young fella?
A young staffer, I'm sure. He'd been.
Nice young man. Young fella answered.
I'm sure he'd been getting earful all day from
howdy ho, buddy.
Angry folks. And I was like, hey man, how you doing? I just said, tell your boss that yeah, I'm glad he did the right thing there.
Yeah, I actually bet that they appreciated that.
He seemed relieved not to be getting yelled at for 35 seconds.
I would say Brinson's is
Deebo's holding his
nearly $100,000.
I was thinking about doing that, but I figured that would be sort of played. I'll say this: I bought a Top Shot card.
Again, I don't know what that is. You mentioned that earlier.
They are. You'll be disgusted with them, but
they cost $80,000. That's why we don't know, Wilson.
Break it down in like early 90s terms, Brinson. Like if these players were available, Ryan will understand it in that framework.
That's a great call. So, like you would buy like my basketball cards and baseball cards back in the day.
Amen, brother.
Right. Like I got a whole pile of them up here that my mom was like, get these out of the house. Well, now Top Shot, it's this company that partnered with the NBA and they got NBA licensing for highlights. And so you can purchase a highlight of a player. Now, the reason people think this is stupid is because the highlights are available for free anywhere. But the pushback would be, yeah, but like, so are the photos of baseball cards, yeah. So you collect the card. It's an electronic.
Okay.
It's an electronic moving basketball card. Basically.
And you own
Bitcoin,
Can you profit off this? Does the value in a highlight go up?
It is like, so today we're recording this on Thursday. They are going through the effing roof right now. It's out of control.
Is it the Bitcoin of travel? The Bitcoin of baseball cards?
That basketball card. It's basketball only. They're going UFC next. So,
wait, let me ask you something though.
Sure.
As an old person who doesn't understand these things, why wouldn't I just go to YouTube to watch a highlight of Michael Jordan or whatever the thing is you own?
Sure. Yeah. You're not doing it like the highlights are like, some of the highlights are stupid. It's like layup or like, but like they're good. Like most of them are good highlights. I don't know if you realize this, but like the sports card and card, like hobby collectibles have,
you told us this back on the rise again.
Exploded,
but they've only exploded, if I recall correctly from your conversation, the recent cards. Like my Pete Rose card is still worth doo-doo.
Pete Rose maybe worth something, but like Frank Thomas rookie card worth nothing because there's so many of them.
That's insane.
Ken Griffey rookie cards you think would be worth $1 billion, but it's like only specific ones are really worth anything. I found like I had like the 91 hoops, NBA hoops set, right? And like a Michael Jordan gold all-star card. I was like, oh, I'm rich.
Mm-hmm.
Like $14.
I need to find a baseball.
But here's the crazy thing. I saw Darren Ravel tweeted this out. I may have thrown some of these away last week.
Hold on 1 second. Don Mattingly rookie card. I have that.
Probably worth something. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's stuff that's like before 1990. It's like 91 through like 98 is like
Ooh.
worthless.
Oh, I'm 82
Yeah.
through
So you're
90.
old. Yeah. You might have stuff that's like worth a ton.
I
So
gotta look it up.
Started over printing, right? They just
Ah.
the
No,
original
right.
boom, which happened in the late 80s, like they were popular in the 70s, obviously, but then like the boom soared up in the late 80s,
That's right.
90s as they started packaging them and sending them out.
Used
and
to
like,
go to flea markets in North Carolina to trade baseball cards with like the
Oh,
pro
yeah.
pro guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we'd go to the pawn shop with my allowance every week and I'd buy baseball cards.
I never went to the pawn shop.
Well, it was just like in High Point. It's just it's like
Right, it's
coins
right.
and stuff. You'd
I was
go in
gonna
there.
say, it's a highbrow pawn shop.
So you
No,
were
no, it
raising
wasn't- not
cows
happening.
and going to pawn shops when you were a child. Is that correct?
And
That sounds about
I had
right.
a huge comic book collection too.
Never got into comics.
At any rate, like I saw Darren Ravel tweet this out and I almost threw up because I'm pretty sure I threw some away.
Mm.
Garbage Pail Kid cards.
You did that?
No,
I love
just like,
Garbage Pail Kids.
we just had like I've got like hockey cards here. I don't even watch hockey, but like I don't know how we ended up. These Garbage Pail Kid cards sold for like 30 grand. I mean,
That
So you're saying we should have kept all of them?
yeah, should have kept everything.
I am
I had
fine.
so many. I remember Nasty
you?
Nick, Atom Bomb.
Wait, you didn't have Garbage Pail Kids.
I had so many Garbage Pail Kid cards.
This is what happens when you don't have any friends. Is all I'm saying.
what
Yeah, you know what? You know who my friends were? The Garbage Pail Kids, Ryan.
And they
what time
deserted
frame
you.
is this, Breach? This is I think a little before me because I don't
think
know.
it's 2000 to 2005. I had to guess for Breach.
The college years,
He's not answering.
like early 90s.
Yeah, I think that was early 90s.
Yeah, don't rewrite history.
Okay,
pretty
so
sure.
I paid a substantial sum for this, but I did it because
For what? A video?
yeah, but it is Kevin Durant's first points with the Brooklyn Nets
So when did you buy it?
yesterday.
Oh, okay. So you don't know if you made money yet. How long do you have to wait to find out if you make money on this thing?
The cheapest one currently is $400. And so, all right, so their serial numbers of this one. So like, this is the difference too, is that with baseball cards, you didn't know. I mean, like you had no idea how many of these top sets were printed, right?
But I can go on YouTube and watch your video clip for free.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It's like, it's just think of it as like a marketplace. Like this is not like I wanted to have Kevin Durant's first points.
But my point is that if I'm debating whether to buy Kevin Durant's first points, why wouldn't I just invest my money in something that has 4% return and go watch it on YouTube?
Well, okay, this is going to return way more than 4% if the market continues at its current
That's what I'm
pace.
saying. Is it though?
Yeah, think about it as like a currency, Ryan. Like if Kevin Durant scores 50 points, we're recording this on Thursday against the Lakers, that's going to skyrocket. And Will could decide to sell it tonight, or he could hold on to it thinking that it'll return future value. Like it seems silly in concept, but they just you own this moment, and it's a online currency pretty much.
Brenton, what's your serial number?
My serial number for my Durant.
666.
And actually, what's interesting about this too is it's on blockchain, so it's all publicly available. Like you can see who owns every one of the series. Like it's not, So
what's the number? Give me the number.
I'm looking for it right now. Slow down. I have now. Our boss EK is big into Top Shots right now.
I see a tweet. I didn't know what he's talking about.
And they also have packs on the site. So they do these drops. Now it's like you have to get in this line, and there were 50,000 people waiting in the line to get them. And a pack is $14 and you get 5 cards. So like
Right.
you could open up and get one of those Durants in theory, or like a LeBron, it's worth a ton. So like you can still do it the same old way, right? You don't have to.
Waiting for the
So
number.
when we look back in 10 years on the craziest things that happened with people sitting at home during the pandemic, this is going to rank like top 3, right?
Let me ask you this.
This, I don't even think this is like top 5.
He was betting on
My
what's
Kevin Durant number,
marbles.
and the lower this, there are 7,500 of these Kevin Durants. The lower than,
seems like a lot.
I mean, I don't think 7,500 is that much.
Go ahead.
The really small, there's like some that are like 250 prints of them, or like 250 serials of them, and those are like crazy expensive. I am number 510 of 7,500.
So if you double your money, will you get out or will you hang on to it?
All right. So currently, mine's not. I don't have anything up for sale because I don't want to. Like, there's these people who have had this stuff up for sale. And then they talked about it on, there's an interview. They talked about it, like Barstool wrote about it. There was an interview with Pablo Torre on ESPN Daily about it. And like the last 24 hours, there's been a ton of press. And so the marketplace has gotten flooded. There's been a big spike. And so like a bunch of people who had cards for sale, but like were trying to get them off, but they couldn't get them to delist, woke up and they'd been sold for a number that they did not want to sell it for. Now, the Durant, the closest one to my serial number. So let's see, oh my God. 515. I have 510. 515 is up for sale for $5,115. I would sell mine at that number.
But 503 is up for sale for $995.
I wouldn't be opposed to selling for that number. I did not pay that much for it.
How bad would you feel if it went to 0?
Probably wouldn't though, right? Like there's no chance that goes to.
I don't think it would. I don't think the market would. I mean, the NBA is in on this. Like that's the other thing. This is not like a mysterious third party is like finagling highlights and it could get shut down at any moment. I mean, this isn't GameStop, right? Like I think, I mean, if it went to 0, I'd be pretty pissed off, but I wouldn't be.
Are you doing this for fun? Or are you doing this like as you would invest in stocks to make money?
Yes.
Both? Or
well, like I find like stocks. I find like trading stocks fun.
Yeah, but I mean,
I would say it's for the exact same reasons, except it's like this highlight is really cool. Like it's like Kevin Durant squaring up and just burying a 3 on the Warriors.
But my point is that this isn't for retirement purposes. This is just for
no. But I mean, like if I cash into it, then
it's like gambling.
Some people are going that route though, Ryan. Like, Will, correct me. I feel like the top card has been like 50K. I don't know if that's been surpassed.
I think
here's
the
thing is I understand wanting to own a baseball card more than like if you buy the Honus Wagner card, the one that's worth millions, you have a tangible thing, like one of the oldest, best conditioned baseball cards left in history. And you have something that you can put on display. You have something that you can hold. And with this, you're buying a highlight that you can get on YouTube for free.
I'm sure it's kind of weird like that. But I think, I mean, like Deebo, do you find this weird at all?
Conceptually, like the way these guys are putting it, yes. Like if I were to have something in my house or on display, like I'm opting for the tangible item, but I get it in the sense of trading and the moments. Like you just got to tell Ryan, like, hey, you can buy this Sean Kemp dunk over Alton Lister, and he's in.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that is kind of so. I was talking to a buddy of mine about this, and he's my buddy Blaine's like he's not like old school, but he just doesn't he finds the whole thing offensive because he thinks it is essentially like just crapping on the decades long tradition of collecting baseball cards like when we were collecting cards as a kid. I mean, you wanted to get the best cards and you protected the best cards. And you wanted those serial numbers, you wanted rare cards, you wanted rookies, you wanted all of that. So like all of that is still the same, but it just felt like, I wasn't like gobbling up, Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards to retire on as a kid, like that's I guess the difference. Like you wanted,
but you were 10 versus 38.
Yeah. But I mean, like 10-year-olds now, I guess are doing this too. I don't,
maybe
it's just the evolution of something that's been around for a long time. It's just the evolution of it.
So like, I would say that, I mean, and maybe this is like, I think this would be really cool for the NFL too. I mean, like, I think it might be a little more applicable for me. I was immediately was like, oh my God, I want like golf versions of this, like just sicko golf shots, like Tiger Woods's chip at the Masters where the Nike ball hangs like that. I mean, you wouldn't want to pay $10,000 for it, but I think it would be cool to have that. Now to Breach's point, it doesn't hang, it's on my laptop. And I don't even own it. It's on like Top Shot's site, right? Like, so in that sense, it would
be different if say every time your highlight ran on Sports Center, you made like $5 because you owned the highlight. That would be different. Then people would be all about it.
It's like Michael Jackson owning the Beatles catalog, as opposed to you just paying someone like you owning a star in the sky that those people sell And I understand you can trade it and all that, but I'm sort of old school with Breach.
All right, well, you can scroll down and look at the sales. So this Kevin Durant has sit. So we're recording this at 3:15 p.m. I think the marketplace might actually be down. It sold from 11:10 a.m. to 12:43 p.m.
Yeah.
It's 14 different ones sold.
But that doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, that's
Well, the cheapest one that sold was $375, and the most expensive one was $777. And these were all somebody bought $454 for $777. I mean, it's hard to like conceptually get behind. I think it's a little bit like Bitcoin in the sense that you're like, what? What do you mean? It's an alternate form of money. That's insane.
Let me ask you this: what does your dad think of it? Because he's an old school investor.
I mean, my Bitcoin or this?
This.
I haven't even talked to my dad about this. This is so. I haven't even seen my dad since I got into it. Like, I mean, yeah, he thought like the GameStop stuff. I mean, I talked about the GameStop stuff. I don't know. Like, there's a chance this is a fad. There's also a chance that Top Shot is going in 5 years, and it's the new NBA collectible. And if you have season 1 or season 2 highlights, that they're worth an obscene amount of money, and you can sell them.
Okay. Well, I wish you all the luck.
Okay. I mean, obviously, you won't be getting in on it.
No, I know. Deebo, what do you own? You seem like you're on board with it.
No, I'm not in yet. I want to educate myself a little bit more on it. I know I'm wasting time and missing out, like Will said, because it's skyrocketing. But I'm trying to listen to podcasts and watch YouTube videos before I dive in, do my due diligence.
To find out about it.
Yeah,
there's a really good article on Jonathan Bale. No. Jonathan Bales, who's like one of the Fantasy Labs founders. It's Google Lucky Maverick Substack is his email thing, but he's like, the title of it is "This is why I bought a $35,000 Ja Morant highlight." He and a couple other guys went in and bought the Ja Morant highlight, and I mean, I think it's valued at like $150,000 now or something like that.
I just want to announce that me and Breach are starting something called Medium Shot, where we're going to sell highlights off of YouTube, and at half the price
of field goals.
At half the price. Although Randy Bullocks are off the market right now.
They'll be on sale. They'll be 75% off.
I mean, wait till they make available a Jim Breach field goal from the Super Bowl. How much that goes for? How much Breach pays for that one?
I'll buy them all. So that won't be an option for anyone.
Can you imagine Breach calling his dad saying, "Hey, I bought a bunch of videos of you kicking field goals." He's like, "I'm literally right here, you moron."
I mean, I will say this: if I don't hit that DFS tournament, I'm not in on this.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is why you don't want to win in DFS.
Wait a second. What do you mean you're not in on it?
He's saying he wouldn't have spent the money to buy this card if he had not won DFS.
Oh, I thought you were waiting on another tournament to come through, and then if it doesn't come through,
no. Like I would not have outlaid that
exactly
money
this is your stimulus check, and you're like, hey, let me see what I'm gonna do with it.
Well, but see, that's the other thing that's really interesting about stuff like Top Shot and Robinhood and all that is that
and Medium Shot
and Medium Shot, right? The burgeoning Medium Shot empire is that these stimulus checks are going to every American. There's a large portion of Americans like Deebo. Like, what'd you do with your stimulus check?
Savings.
Okay, well, you're a
Deebo.
Rational person, but like a lot of people,
yeah,
a lot of people your age are like, all right, I got a stimmy check. I'm gonna play some ball line poker, or I'm gonna invest in GameStop, or I'm going to play DFS or buy Bitcoin or buy a Top Shot. I mean, that's
Breach bought diapers.
Yeah,
diapers are expensive.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Like
I understand. Yeah,
these stimulus checks are perhaps not stimulating local businesses financially.
Maybe diapers could be the next Top Shot.
Yeah,
there you go.
There's different types of diapers like Huggies, Kirkland brand from Costco. You trade, and whoever gets the most comfortable diapers, and those could be worth more. I'm onto something here, guys.
I think that's a good segue, diapers, into our next question, right?
Sure. That was a great question. The last thing you did for the first time. Sorry, I got off the rails in the Top Shot.
Sure did.
Hopefully
There's 5 people still listening. And they all want to buy a Top Shot.
Go buy my Durant. Victor Garcia says, I love the Mailbag Super Friends episodes. Question for the whole crew. Can you tell me Oh God. Can you tell me the most embarrassing or funny moment each of you guys have remembered of each other? Also include Deebo. Thank you guys and cheers to many more Super Friends episodes. I think we've covered mine in full detail. So
I was trying to think of another one for you. I don't remember the second most embarrassing thing you've done. Maybe your behavior when you tried to go to the combine last year when it was clear that you weren't going. That was sort of funny to watch. I'm going to buy a ticket and then get in the hotel room. I'm just going to show up. That was you. I think breaches. Oh, go ahead.
Your most embarrassing moment was at the draft in Nashville, right?
Oh, I think I said the Colts thing, what you talked about.
Oh, yeah. That could.
What are you talking about? That? What's the Nashville thing?
Where you did the Red Bull shot and punched Breach in the nuts.
That was fun. That could be Breach's most embarrassing.
Yeah.
That was a highlight. That was a highlight for me. And the second highlight that night is when you buttholes, you and EK and Robbie
Snyder, walking down the road, all of a sudden we hear, "What's up?" And like Wilson, still jacked out of Red Bull, comes flying by us in a dead sprint and scared the living crap out of us at 3 a.m.
5 hours later, 3 a.m. EK wanted to go downtown. What's that? Broad Street Breach? What's that place called?
Broadway.
Can you imagine being in a downtown crowded bar? It seems so foreign.
We're there at 1:45 in the morning. There's no way we're getting in anywhere. And all the Ubers are taken. So I have to walk back. That must've been a mile and a half. I had to walk back. And I ain't trying to walk through Nashville at 2 a.m, but I didn't have a choice. And I'm walking and I go by some clubs and they're packed. I'm like, oh my God, this is no place for an old person to be. And I turn the corner right near the hotel and I see Brinson, EK, and Robbie Snyder walking, and I have to make sure it's them because you don't want to do a drive by some people you don't know and get jacked up. And I run full speed.
You get beat up for
30 yards, and I get right like one step behind them before they hear me. I just yell as loud as I can, and I've never seen. That's the quickest Brinson's ever moved. I
jumped big time.
That was some short area quickness there. So that was an embarrassing. I enjoyed that.
And then there was also the time that Wilson made us go to Jester's at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I don't think it's embarrassing either.
It's
I think Breach's most embarrassing, not in a bad way, is when he locked himself into the cafeteria at the at the office, and he had to text us. And our solution was to. And Breach, you have the picture? I think I have the picture.
I do not have the picture available. When was that? August something?
2018, maybe.
It was after the.
It was
2018.
2019.
It was 2019.
August of 2019.
I mean, like I've dressed up like Wilma Flintstone and done a live show on air before. I mean, but like, I would say that I'm not embarrassed by a whole lot.
That's the other thing.
Oh yeah. Breach. If you watch the video version, you can see.
Oh, this is
good God. Let me see my face without a beard. I didn't have a beard. Wow.
August 23rd, 2019 at 12:11 a.m. Yeah. You got that, Breach?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't know that we have like Wilson's punching Breach in the nuts wasn't like embarrassing.
By the way, here's Breach the next day in the office.
What did we do that night? Oh, that's because Wilson made us go to Jester's at 3 a.m. I can't, guys.
I took this at 10 a.m. and you were watching.
He passed out. He's like, I was watching Game Pass. He's passed out on the.
That's what he said.
Like, Breach, you can't. What are you talking about?
No, I was watching Game Pass. Get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know that we have like a whole lot of.
What's Deebo's most embarrassing?
Probably being with me at the Super Bowl.
Being Brinson's babysitter.
Yeah, that is embarrassing.
Well, I mean, but I read the question in context of like most embarrassing moment with it like together.
Yeah. Deebo isn't anything embarrassing.
Deebo doesn't do embarrassing things usually.
With us.
Deebo's approach is such that Deebo's not like the first guy bum rushing through the door.
And the thing is, like, if we're drinking,
I am, and that's how you end up getting embarrassed.
Right. If we're all drinking, Deebo drinks to a point where even if he's inebriated, all he has to do is stand next to you and he looks like he's completely sober. So he's smart in that way as well.
Just wait till the Pick-6 combine.
It's the old I mean, I would say my most embarrassing moment might even be the race with Sean.
Getting smoked in the 40-yard dash.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Because I was running like it was so stupid. Like I was A, not in good shape, B, wearing khaki, C, I actually had shame about that, not losing the race, but no, like taking my shoes off and running through the street.
Oh God,
like I was like, oh my God, like I woke up the next morning, I was like, pretty glad I didn't step on a needle or something. I mean, it's Fort Lauderdale. Who knows?
The best part
glass.
Was, I mean, on the drive over to dinner, I think it was 3 across in the back, me, you, and Sean, and you were in his ear for 25 minutes of that drive talking about how you're going to smoke him to the point where he was nervous, like, oh my God, maybe this guy's really good. But Brinson just bluffed his way all the way to the starting line, and then 40 yards later, it was over.
Blown out. It was like watching the Chiefs and the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, where you thought the Chiefs kept talking it up, saying they had a chance, and then it just got ugly fast.
Yeah, but nobody thought that I was.
Brinson wasn't the favorite.
Yeah.
Right. That's the other thing.
I'm trying to think if I got.
That's definitely it.
Yeah, that's it.
How's it going?
I mean, last year's Super Bowl Saturday night, way more embarrassing.
We've already talked about it.
Yeah.
Pretty much every mailbag in the past, if you need that story.
Deebo, do you have?
If you haven't heard that one, just don't bother.
Do you have a thought on your most embarrassing?
Yeah, I'm curious about this. Where this
work-related moment?
No, I mean, I've been around you guys in person last year's Super Bowl, and then I met you guys in person for the first time at the time that Breach locked himself out. But I was, I think, just working late.
Wait, so Brinson, were you embarrassed when you cut your head open and had to get stitches because you fell off a scooter?
That's right.
Seems like I got a lot of these.
You
all within the last 3 years.
You're leading to that one.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. I mean, honestly, that was more relieving than anything else. Like I wasn't like that. I didn't like bust my teeth open or anything.
Or get a concussion, or like slice your head open completely.
May have had a concussion.
Fingers crossed.
May have lied to the doctor about it.
Not embarrassing, but in terms, it was definitely memorable. I wish you were there for this one, Deebo, where me, Brinson, and Breach were out till 4 a.m. In Atlanta playing.
Oh yeah.
What's that game?
Bocce.
Yeah.
It could have gotten him. I mean, in theory, I suppose if you.
That was fine. Like we were harmless. It was just sort of.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'll say fingers crossed for future gatherings in Los Angeles and potentially Las Vegas next year.
Oh
I think Cleveland's probably out of the mix. We won't be seeing each other in Cleveland in April, but next year.
Maybe we'll be in
Vegas draft has a high percentage chance for humiliation. Deebo, did you say anything? You don't really have anything.
I mean, we covered.
What's your most embarrassing moment in life?
Yeah, there you go.
You got to give me more time on that. I don't know.
I'm trying to think what mine is.
My pants ripped in kindergarten. I went up to the class.
That's mortifying.
Yeah, but like nobody. I mean, how many people from that classroom would like still think about that? I mean, like that happening.
But he's thinking, like I peed in my pants in third grade because my teacher was so mean that I didn't want to get up and I just had to hold it. And then some girl told on me and I had to make up a stupid lie. Like, oh, I literally said I fell in the mud puddle of the bus stop. And she's like, come on, dummy.
Do you remember that girl's name?
I do believe it was Misty DeVillischauer who told on me.
Oh my God. You can't say it on the podcast.
So,
now people are going to Google her.
And I think that I mean, a lot of those moments, I think, obviously kindergarten through
but the thing is, if you think
eighth grade is like full of 42 embarrassing moments per day. Yeah. But if you look back on that, you're like, well, I mean, whatever. Like that's.
Oh, I like if I had to pee now, I would just pee in my pants. Like I don't care. Like I'm
I would say every date I've ever been on.
Yeah, there you go. The girl steak tips didn't call you back or whatever. That's.
I think I've shared that I passed out on a date before because she was talking about some medical stuff and I didn't fly with me.
You got like it was like gross. And
it wasn't even bad. Like what she was describing wasn't bad.
But this is an incredible story.
Wait, you passed out like you from boredom, like you got tired and fell asleep, or you passed out like you passed out?
You were grossed out, like getting a needle,
like fainting,
a blood drawn.
Oh, you fainted.
Oh my God.
Were you sitting down at least?
Are you sure you weren't drugged?
Where were you?
Common. So that happened like in health class growing up, like 5th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. Then I was good for about 10 years.
Huh.
And,
so were you sitting down when you passed out on the date?
Yeah. Oh, so it was like an 8th grade date.
No. This was 3 years ago.
Oh
I'm guessing there was no second date.
Wait! Don't spoil it. Wait, I want to ask a question. So you passed out. How long were you passed out?
I don't think long.
Like is that 10 seconds or 2 minutes?
Yeah, I think closer to 10 seconds. I was like, I could feel it kind of coming. I was like, hey, politely, could you stop describing the story you're telling me right now? I'm not feeling so great.
And what was her name?
No. So you passed out. Did she freak out or she just leaves? What does she do?
She was understanding in the moment. She was like, oh my God, no, you're fine. And I was like, oh, you've handled this really well. And then ghost town after that.
What
From
was he
her or
talking-
from you? Who ghosted who?
Sounds like Deebo saying she ghosted him.
Yeah.
What was she talking about?
I
Can
don't
you
even-
talk about it without passing out?
Yeah, I'm good now. I'm good at these days. It's
you-
influenced by wine. It's called vasovagal, which is like a syndrome, and people believe that's why Patrick Mahomes. They don't think he actually had a concussion in that game against the Browns. They think it was the hit, like something more mental. So that's vasovagal is what it's called.
And that made you pass out?
Dr. Deebo
Yeah.
in the house.
And I told another date in the future.
You're
about
saying
that.
your situation was vasovagal.
Yes, but people like I hadn't heard it much like ever mentioned, and then
Okay, but
Oh,
can you describe without
Right,
telling
yeah.
us exactly what it was? A general. I mean,
what
you
was
can
she
even maybe like,
saying that?
what was she? Yeah, what was she talking about that caused?
I thought she was talking about vasovagal. I was like, oh, okay, that's
because this is a first date, so I'm assuming it's not something.
like
you know.
somebody's getting their head chopped off or something.
I really don't remember. Like
You don't remember?
in ninth grade, it was something about like real innocent about like kidney stones. One time was about giving birth.
Oh, okay. I think I misunderstood. So this, like, somebody in ninth grade like talked about kidney stones, and you passed out.
Yeah, it's like people pass out when they get shots or something.
Right,
Yeah,
and
no,
I-
it's vasovagal syncope. Vasovagal syncope occurs
You're
when
the
you
doctor.
faint because your body overreacts to certain triggers, such as the sight of blood or extreme emotional distress. It may also be called neurocardiogenic syncope. The vasovagal syncope trigger causes your heart rate and blood pressure to drop suddenly. Yikes.
Behind the curtains right now, like in my head right now, I'm thinking about it too much.
All right, stop thinking about it. So let me ask you this, Breach and or Brent.
It's not embarrassing. That's scary.
Well, that's
But like right now, my body, like my legs are getting cold.
Yeah, it's to do
I know
much of
too.
this. Have you
Is that like when you see somebody puke and you puke?
I
stop
think
talking?
What if Deebo passes out on the podcast?
Say it, leave him alone.
television. That's the same, I think, thought process.
Breach
So-
is like,
I know,
hold on
we-
a second.
Get
Let me
a
jab a
fake
needle in my
blood,
arm.
fake blood coming out here on one of the
So,
podcasts, and Deebo just
Check
passed
out my
out.
broken leg.
Breach or Brinson, have you guys ever fainted? What'd you say, Breach?
I have not.
I have not fainted either. Like I don't know.
I've blacked
It's
out.
the thought of feigning is weird to me. Like
Right? It's hard to sort of.
Are you okay, Deebo?
Yeah, take your headphones off.
Hey, drink some more water, buddy.
Yeah, lay down while you do the podcast.
Take a
If
cold
you-
shower.
we gotta stop talking about this.
I know. All right. Well, that was actually that's. Not
I've
embarrassing.
never,
That's-
I'm knock
What
on
an
wood.
enlightening podcast.
Knock on wood, I've never broken a bone.
I've broken a bone. We've talked about this.
You've gotten stitches.
I have gotten stitches.
Oh,
That's the first stitches I've ever gotten.
Was off a scooter.
Yeah.
Imagine the life you have to lead to have never broken a bone or never gotten stitches till you're in your mid 30s.
I mean, like surprisingly, like you wouldn't think of me as that type of person.
I think of you very much as Judge Smales, having done nothing.
No,
inside the
I'm saying
country
like
club
you
zone.
would. No, like I mean, the reason I haven't broken bones is not because I'm being like carried around on like a plush, like,
You're like C-3PO in Return of the Jedi, where the Ewoks think you're the king.
right. Like but I'm risk averse. Risk averse is see, that's what I'm saying. Like you wouldn't think of me as like avoiding risk.
You're not risk averse. We saw you all at the Super Bowl.
Well, that was alcohol induced. I mean, like that's
All right.
All right.
What else?
Wilson's got to go. That's it. That's the podcast.
Yeah.
Wilson's got to go. I got to go watch. I got to go sweat out a Matthew Fitzpatrick first round leader situation.
I've got to go buy a Top Shot.
I gotta
Yeah.
pass out.
Breach is going to go dig through my account to try to figure out how much I'm in. I'll tell you this.
No,
There's a site where you can look up other people's. You can look up anybody's thing,
right.
and I will tell you that our pal, Mr. K, is not short on account value when it comes to his.
I wish you both the best of luck.
Ooh, mine shot up. Let's go to the moon. All right, see you guys later.